I'd like to call the Thursday, May 15th, 2008 Ascension Parish Council regular meeting to order, please. Our invocation tonight will be by Father Gary Belsom, pastor of St. Teresa Catholic Church. Please stand.
If we could take a moment just to quiet ourselves and bring ourselves into the presence of God, which is a spirit of peace, a spirit of love, and a spirit of protection. God, our Creator and Sustainer, we thank you this night for the blessings of life which you have given to us each. We especially remember the strength and the life that you give to Isabel Marie Valentine, and we pray for her continued strength and her continued growth. We thank you, too, for the gift of liberty and freedom, which allows us this night to come forward to express our opinions, to deliberate your will for our world, and to find your peace among us. We, the people of the Parish of Ascension, call down your blessing upon our councilmen tonight. We ask you to guide their hearts and their deliberations so that they might always bring about your will in our world. We thank you for their gift to us, and we pray for their wisdom. We ask you to send down your Spirit here among us so that we might experience the fire of your love for us. And we claim all of this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father. Our pledge tonight will be led by Elena and James Virtue.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Suzanne. Make a note that everyone present, with the exception of Councilman Joseph and Thompson. I have two items for the chair addition. I'll bring them up. Each individual will have to roll call vote on them. I'll need for the malpractice insurance, which will be talked about by Kenny Matassa. I'll need a roll call, please.
Move to have the.
I need a motion to put these on the 2/3.
Move to put them. Put
By Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Kluart. Roll call, please.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Yes.
Councilman Dempsey-Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Kluart.
Yes.
Councilman Lohr.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
Yes.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Dennis Cullen.
Yes.
Councilman Benny Johnson.
Yes.
Is that 8? Okay. We will move this into our general business section, item 11A, excuse me. The second item will be the Davisac contract, a housekeeping matter. It will also be explained by Kenny Matassa. I'll need a motion. Motion by Councilman Shakespeare.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lohr. Roll call, please.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Yes.
Councilman Dempsey-Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Kluart.
Yes.
Councilman Lohr.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
Yes.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Cullen.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
This item will be 11B. Thank you. Okay. Our public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on any item on tonight's agenda, make sure that you sign in with Ms. Suzanne, please. You will be allotted 3 minutes. We'll get into our presentation section of the agenda. The first presentation we have is a proclamation to proclaim St. Jude Week in Ascension Parish.
To proclaim May 18th through the 24th as St. Jude Awareness Week in Ascension Parish. Whereas cancer is the #1 cause of death by disease among U.S. children, and whereas St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is a premier pediatric cancer research center whose mission is to find cures for children with cancer and other catastrophic diseases through research and treatment, and whereas the physicians and scientists of St. Jude have pioneered treatments that have helped push the overall survival rate for childhood cancers from less than 20% in 1962, when the hospital opened its doors, to more than 70% today. And whereas a survival rate for the most common form of childhood cancer, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, has risen from 4% in 1962 to 94% today. And whereas St. Jude has treated children from communities in Louisiana and around the world and freely shares its research findings and groundbreaking studies with the global medical community, and whereas following the vision of St. Jude founder Danny Thomas, no child is denied treatment based on race, religion, or a family's inability to pay, and whereas through the fundraising support of donors, the work of the faculty and staff of St. Jude never stop in their efforts of finding cures and saving children. Therefore, be it proclaimed, I, Tommy Martinez, President of the Parish of Ascension, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereunto proclaim May 18th through 24th, 2008, as St. Jude Awareness Week in Ascension Parish, and also urges all of our fellow citizens to work together to continue the life-saving mission of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and help fulfill Danny Thomas's dream that no child should die in the dawn of life.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any representatives from St. Jude here tonight, please?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
My name's Rodney Savoy, and we have an event coming up. We're going to be giving it away June 7th. It's a barbecue for 25 people. Marshall Ramagaz come up with the idea, and my group just took it and ran with it. It's going to be chicken, ribs, hot dogs, hamburgers, beans, garlic bread, and Coca-Cola products that we will prepare for you at your house. And it's just a little fun thing for us to do, and it raises money for St. Jude. I'm a St. Jude dad. My daughter is 15 years in remission now, and next year she will graduate from St. Jude. So they don't want us there anymore. So that's great, and that's one of the reasons we do it. And like I said, we got to give Marshall a hand for coming up with this, and everybody is just loving it.
And we all gonna, whenever we do pull a raffle ticket, we all gonna schedule it to whoever wins the raffle to the date they can do it.
Okay.
It's gonna be either myself or Rodney's team go cooking for the thing. So one of us will be there to present everybody.
Gentlemen, I'd like to really thank you all for your efforts, and anything you need from us on the council, please feel free to call. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Next, we will proclaim May 15, 2008, Matthew Tartarich Day in Ascension Parish.
To proclaim May 15th as Matthew Tartarich Day in Ascension Parish. Whereas Matthew Tartarich, a student at St. Teresa School, represented Ascension Parish in the 2008 Louisiana State Aviation Art Contest sponsored by Louisiana DOTD Aviation Division, Louisiana Airport Managers Association, and the Experimental Aircraft Association, and whereas Matthew Tartarich was the only Ascension Parish student to place out of 1,100 students and 52 schools represented, And whereas Matthew placed third in his age group of 6 to 9-year-olds, and whereas this is a significant accomplishment for a primary school student. Now there it be proclaimed, I, Tommy Martinez, President of Parish of Ascension, do hereunto proclaim Thursday, May 15th, 2008, as Matthew Totteridge Day in Ascension Parish.
So make sure I can see. I'm not a little closer, everyone. That's good. A little bit forward, please, Jennifer. Thank you. Ready? Okay, let me get one more, please. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Congratulations.
Next, we will have the proclamation for Sarah Lash Day in Ascension Parish. She is the Student of the Year for Ascension Parish.
To proclaim May 16th as Sarah Lesh Day in Ascension Parish. Whereas Sarah Lesh will graduate from Dutchtown High School Friday, May 16th as an outstanding member of the student body and its community, where she holds a rank of 8th in her class of 348 with a GPA of 4.3, and whereas through her dedication to a rigorous scholastic curriculum and participation in extracurricular activities has been awarded several regional and national awards, and whereas Sarah was recently named the 2008 Louisiana Student of the Year due to these pursuits and accomplishments, and whereas her qualities of leadership, community service, and outstanding character represent the very best our youth have to offer, we proudly honor this young woman's accomplishments. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, I, Tommy Martinez, President of Parish of Ascension, do hereunto proclaim Friday, May 16th, 2008, as Sarah Lesh Day in Ascension Parish.
Right behind you.
Same thing as you think. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, next we have Mr. Jeffrey Seeger and Lane Moran recognition for Eagle Scouts.
This certificate is hereby awarded to Jeffrey Seeger, Boy Scout Troop 205. The Parish of Ascension is proud to present this certificate to Jeffrey Seeger in honor of his attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. I know that probably only 4% of the scouts that get into that program ever attain rank of Eagle Scout, so this is a great achievement, and I certainly want to reward them and congratulate them. Thank you. We'll do them together. And the Parish of Ascension is proud to present this certificate to Lane Moran in honor of his attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. So both of these guys, you're something special, and we certainly are proud of you here in Ascension Parish. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Ready? Can we get one more, please? Ready? Thank you. Congratulations.
You're gonna read all those. These are awards that go out to the students that are part of the Character First program at Galvez. The men of character created a thing. I had the honor to speak at their ball. It was great participation in that program. They're great kids, and we're proud of them, and ask them to please come forward. Ms. Angel Carlos.
Angel, she's not here? Okay.
Not here.
All right, we'll move on.
Okay. Christine Averill. Go to Nickens. Luke Melanson. Attorney Simmons. Attorney King. Jonathan Jackson. Brad Touye. Cameron Nickens. That's- Jordan also Burrow. Christy Peabody. Call Ms. Peace up here, the director of that program, does an excellent job, and I'd like to maybe say a few words about your program.
Okay. At Galvez Middle School, we have the Young Ladies of Distinction, Men of Character, which is a program designed to recognize students for their basic instinct to be a good person. Students receive nominations from teachers, faculty, and any adult member of the staff for basic good characteristics such as kindness, being honest, using good manners, anything that you can think of that helps to form a well-rounded person. And we're very proud this year that we were able to honor over 100 students at the ball on Thursday night. Students that had 8 or more nominations qualified to attend the ball, and it was well attended. We had over 400 people present. Our principal is Linda Emery. She's very supportive of the program, and I'm sure if she could be here now, she would just like to say congratulations to all of you, and thank you to Mr. Martinez for speaking at our ball on Thursday night.
If you'd like to just step to that table, and the councilmen are going to join you for a picture. Make sure that we can see everyone. Dakota, can you come down just a little bit on here? That's good. Pat, scoot in. I'm sorry, scoot in for me just a little bit. Tom, I'm trying to make sure I can see everyone. I'm trying to take you struck with the things. Okay, let's see. All right. Can y'all scoot in, gentlemen, just a little bit for me, make it a little tighter? Okay. If you can't see me, I can't see you. So make sure I can see all your faces, please. Ready? Smile. One more, please. Okay. Now everyone have their pictures, yes? Okay. Thank you. Congratulations again.
One more thing, Mr. Martinez asked me to introduce the king and queen. Our queen is Miss Christine Averill, and our king is Mr. Dakota Nickens. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
I'd like any members of the Boy Scout Troop 69 to stand up, please. Thank you all for coming tonight. Councilman Lambert?
Yeah, I was just going to echo Miss Embry's. Ascension Parish is truly blessed with these children, so thank y'all.
Thank you, Councilman Lambert. Okay, next we'll move to item number 6, our parish president report. President Martinez.
All I have is we had asked for you to submit your names to the Home Rule Charter Commission. If we maybe want to start from Kent's side and give us your pick.
Yes, in District 2, we picked Mr. Mike LeBlanc in Market Street in Donaldsonville.
Miss Edna Leary from Prairie.
Mr. Kerry Frederick, Stringer Bridge Road, Santamar.
Mr. Milton Clort, Swamp Road.
Mr. Mark Stewart, Prairieville.
Mr. Greg DePlessis, KC Road, Gonzales. Mr. Bruce Kluwat, it's in Santamar.
Mr. Robert Poche, Weber City Road.
Mr. Lyman Abady, Shadow Creek Subdivision.
I have Miss Terry Cazzo, Dutchtown, and Mr. Don Hanna from Santamar. Is my picks. And did we receive Adrian? Adrian has Mr. Shivers. Okay. So we've got his, and I don't know if Alvin gave us one.
Oliver?
Oliver.
No.
So,
Okay, sir.
you have it? Mr. Oliver has Miss Donna G. Wheeler, 403 Orange Street, Donaldsonville, And again, Mr. Thompson has Mr. Charles Shivers. That should complete.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Any question with the parish president? Thank you. We'll move to item 7, consent agenda. We need a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of April 17th, 2000. Moved by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Moving to our general business section, excuse me. Item 8, mental health report. I'll call at this time for Billy Osimo to come give his report.
Thank you, Chairman Bell and members of the council, Mr. Martinez, President. Each of you were given in your packet, advance mailing, a copy of just a very broad-based description of what we found, and the personnel discussions, which really get to the heart of the issues that have caused a little bit of the turmoil, let's say, in the last several years, or part of the executive session that we'll have at the end. I see you have it scheduled. But I just wanted to kind of give you a little oversight for the benefit of those in the audience and perhaps the councilmen who are new and may have a question on some of the aspects of the whole study. I first want to thank you for allowing me to do this. It's been a learning curve and a good experience, and I hope when we're all done that we have resolved the key issues that have caused the problems in the last several years. And I want to make it very publicly known that one of the nicest things of the whole process is not one soul ever came to me and said, Billy, this is what you ought to do. No one on this council, no one in the administration, no one in the public. So I've been really blessed with a lot of autonomous decision-making in this process. So what you're getting is what's coming out of my observations and the things that I've gathered, and that made it a whole lot nicer that way. I've given you a list of the ways and the things that we previewed, a whole lot of stuff to gather the information, and I gave you a little bit of the history. The ordinance started way back in 1952, for those of you who may not be familiar with mental health in this parish. We're also blessed to be one of only 2 parishes in this entire state who have a dedicated millage. We have 2 mills that go to mental health, and somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.5 million in kind of continuous cash reserve comes in to service the citizens of this parish. So we're very blessed with public support in that whole effort. It's been added to mental health, substance abuse. We have a due program that goes on, and I've given you the basic, on page 4 of the report, the basic definitions of what each program covers. Now, here's kind of where the situations began to get a little sticky. Way back in 1952, when the whole thing was presented to the public and approved for public support, and the first organization was structured, all of the duties of running the mental health service in 1952 was relegated to an advisory board. They hired anybody that worked there, and they got rid of them if they didn't do their job. It was solely pretty much out of control of the police jury. And that maintained its momentum for many, many years. And one of the triggers for some of the issues that have surfaced in the last 8 to 12 years was when the parish chartered itself and became a parish council versus a police jury system. Also, by virtue of a change in the hiring and, well, a change not in the hiring, but a change in where one person worked that served as director, to get parish benefits, the director was moved under the parish employee system and moved away from being a separate employee of the board as had been previously set up. That change was a little bit hard for some people to take, and I guess the continuum of being in charge was difficult to let go, and it caused a little bit of a micromanaging issue, a little bit of a tension between sometimes the administration, sometimes the board, sometimes the director. It kind of went in every direction. But that oversight movement was, in my opinion, one of the initial triggers of the things that have happened since then. We've actually been through 4 directors since President Martinez's first administration. So we've had a little turmoil even in that position. In looking at every side of the issue, one of the things that triggered another spark of I guess, conflict between the board and the parish administrations, there have been attempts to utilize some of the dedicated money for other aspects of parish financing. And that's a clear violation of the law. And I commend the boards who stood their ground and who said it's not going to happen. And they fought hard, and they fought for the people they represented, and they won. And that's a very positive thing to say about the board and the action it took. But there have been attempts to do that. And I guess I just throw this out to you as some of you new councilmen, that I would say it is your charge, without doubt, that you continue to honor the dedicated funding that the parish citizens voted on in 1952 and continue to vote on and will actually renew in 2010. So that's your choice to watch, and I think the board needs to continue being the watchdogs. But that was a bit of a problematic situation there. Now, in the case of the latest director hiring that happened under the previous administration about 4 years ago, there have been a number of conflicts, all of which the parties concerned want to discuss in the executive session, and I'll honor that request. But to give you just a very broad brush, approach to the whole thing, I could probably point fingers at everybody's direction and say somebody had a little piece of the blame for all the problems. What does it come down to? It's come down to miscommunication, inability to communicate. It's come down to, in some cases, a leadership failure or a lack of sufficiently high-quality leadership to run things in every aspect, not just in mental health. And then there's been a little bit of a power struggle. And you put those three things together, and you've got a little bit of a fuse beginning to be lit and the bomb wanting to go off. So we're going to talk about some of the things I've uncovered that have triggered those kinds of things in the course of the investigation. The last thing that I think has been a real turmoil issue here is, in an effort to try to bring peace to the whole thing, the ordinance has been written and rewritten and amended and re-amended. The 2004 October 21st issue was a combination of a lot of appeasement, but where it failed, from my point of view and the point of view of others of the same mindset as I went through as we looked at all the data, it was a combination of advisory and governance. Now, it clearly states in the ordinance this is an advisory committee. But if you read the ordinance, you will see it's been relegated to some governance responsibilities. You can't have both, because what you had now with this setup is a director caught in the middle, a director who works for the parish but has to answer for some governance issues to an advisory board who doesn't hire and cannot fire. So it's really a bad situation. That was probably one of the last things that caused some big issues. Now, there were high turnover rates. We'll talk about why some of those things happened and what few people did to try to help the situation from a leadership point of view. There were controversies from the beginning in hiring the director. There were issues with a lot of the things that happened, some of which were micromanaging on the part of the board, some of which were legitimate issues brought up by the board. So there's some goodness here, and there's some corrective action that need to be in place. I recommended, and the director agreed, to her credit, to go through an assessment to sort of get a feel for leadership abilities and issues that have surfaced along those lines. And we have sat together and gone over each of those components, and they were pretty congruent with the things that I observed as I talked with Dr. Mittendorf. So I think we have a good instrument there to give you some data as we talk about that whole issue in private. I have the ordinance, which I gave you a copy of my trial at the recommended changes. I can quickly buzz through the key issues in there, but you're the guys who are going to have to make the final decision and live with it. And I want to answer any questions you might have along those lines as I kind of quickly go through the ordinance. So if you have a copy of it, I'll sort of point out to you some of the things that have changed to try to get rid of the issues that I just brought up to you. We've put in to sitting at the meetings somebody, probably the supervisor of the director, that is a parish employee, as an ex officio member of the committee. They can serve as a good transition of information from the administration to the board, answer questions that the director might not be able to do. They have no voting power. They're simply ex officio, but I think it's a nice little blend of liaison kind of activity there. I played around with the term of office, and I'll tell you why I did that. There is an appointment up to 5 years. I think, number one, a 5-year voluntary commitment is a pretty stern request to ask of a citizen. Okay? So if you want to serve 5 years, we've given you ways to do that. I'm very, very open to any suggestion you have on how that might go. This is my try at it. It's a little bit different because I don't want anybody to get appointed to a 5-year term. I think that's excessive. I think it's asking a whole lot. So we've amended it down to the most anybody can be asked to serve would be a 3-year term, maybe a 2-year term, and then a 1-year term that can be extended up to 5 years or up to 6 years, depending upon the combination of years they choose. And I think after 6 years, if someone wants to continue serving and this council or the council that is in power decides it's okay, that's your prerogative to make that decision. But I would also say that every year they should renew the commitment to stay on. And if they choose that it's too much of a burden, they have the right to get off, and you guys will have to just appoint somebody else. Here's kind of the changes that we've done. I want the board to be the watchdog of the funds. Somebody's got to holler wolf if people are out there trying to steal the bucks, as have attempted to be happening in the past. So the board has to maintain that watchdog role. But I think the budgetary responsibility rests with this administration and with the council and with the director. They should have the final say-so, but we want input, we want monitoring, and we want the right to go all the way and appeal to you guys if they see something that isn't right taking place. So we've done that with the budgetary process. The annual reports we're still saying they can do. There's a disagreement right now on the table about policies. The policy manual was created under Dr. Mittendorf. It was non-existent before. It's an excellent policy. Some of the frequency of changing of the policies was a sore point with some of the board members who said, you know, we really want to do this whole thing at one time. There have been a lot of policies that have been looked over by legal people who are in mental health legal law, and those policies sit unapproved. They're very similar to what's been approved, but there have been some subtle changes in each of the policies. I think those things should be approved, and once and for all, get it out of the way. I think if there are any concerns, the board chair should be the liaison between the president and the board and work out any issues of concern. But the board has to be relegated to a solely advisory capacity, period, as all the other boards are in this parish, to be consistent. But I've included the appeal rights. I think that's very, very important. We cannot cut off this board by virtue of our position as leaders in the parish and say you don't have the right to appeal if you see something that isn't right. So the appeal right is very, very significant to me. I think the officers should rotate at least no more than 2-year service. If nothing else, it gives a different flavor, a different look, and a different experience base leading the charge. The meeting schedule now has been relegated to once a month. I absolutely don't see any reason for that to be on a monthly basis. I think bi-monthly, which is how the ordinance actually reads, when you meet more frequently, I think you open the door for micromanaging, and that's been some of the issues that have caused the turmoil as well. So my recommendation would be that you keep the same day schedule, but you bring it back to every other month. There's always the option for a special meeting for special things you want to know about. That's in the ordinance. There's been a little bit of a controversy about minutes. For a while, there were televised meetings. They got brutal, to put it mildly, on some occasions. So the TV was stopped. I think we need to have actual recordings of the meeting so that you can have accurate minutes, because there have been some discrepancies by members that the minutes are not accurate. So let's record the minutes and be accurate in what we report, and I think that issue goes away. The evaluation of the director should be by either the direct supervisor or the parish president or both. The board should have input, but the final say-so of what happens has to rest with the administration because this is a parish employee. And I think the director should be required to work very cordially and professionally with the board, as the board should reciprocate that working relationship. Keep the board informed, let them know how the funding is going. Budgetary issues that have been discussed in the past were needless discussion that should not have taken place, because there were things in place that have covered all those things. And I guess in general, just to kind of stop the name calling, the bickering, the somewhat sometimes unprofessional relationships that have occurred in every direction, and the stubbornness needs to go away. Now, in closing, I want to say one thing, and I think it's very important that everybody hear this, particularly those who might think at this point this is a bit of a negative commentary on them. I can find absolutely not one iota of fault on anybody sitting on that board who isn't so passionate about mental health, who isn't committed to the process, and who hasn't worked like a dog to keep this thing right and proper. So their attitude in wanting to serve well as a board has always been there, and I find absolutely no fault from that perspective. There are other issues which we can discuss, as we will do in the executive session, but from a personal point of view and commitment to the process, I applaud their efforts, and I thought it's very, very commendable that they have put in countless hours for absolutely no compensation. So I think that's very meritorious on that part, and I want to make that comment about that. Now, I will answer any questions about the ordinance you might have. I think you're going to have to sit on this thing for 30 days. Yeah, I think you need to sleep on it maybe a bit. I don't know.
There's a few issues in here, like under E, number 3, number 5. You say an advisory role only, but if they're approving and approving policies, and that goes back to more of a governance.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think it's not in final form, so it should wait.
Good. Okay. So anyhow, that's where we are, and I would be happy to answer any question anybody might have at this point, and then take your direct questions when we go into executive session at the end of the whole meeting. Comments, anybody?
Yes, sir.
Councilman Kluwer.
Yeah, Billy. First of all, thank you for the report. You did note that nobody within the council or the administration had tried to levy you in one direction or another on it.
And that's yeah, and I appreciate that a lot.
So
really.
with that given, working with the board and the director and the people involved in mental health, have you had access to everything that you think you needed access to?
I talked to former employees, I talked to current employees, I talked to current staff. I mean, some parish officials, to get a little background information. I weeded through a whole bunch of documents, as I showed you. I watched every minute of every video that you have in the archives of these meetings to get a flavor of the relationships that were going on and the issues that were discussed. In no way was I ever stifled by anybody. Nothing. It's just been a complete freedom process, and that made it very easy for me, actually.
Yeah.
And I had access to anything I asked for from the
what
director or the staff. Yes.
I want to make sure you had access to everything
and the interviews
that you
I thought
needed.
were very honest, very sometimes emotional interviews by people, but very honest interviews, and I appreciated that candor.
Well, thank you.
Councilman Lohr.
I just wanted to say thank you as well. This appears to be an extremely comprehensive report, and I know it couldn't have been easy, especially will help us out as we try to resolve an issue that's been going on for a long time. It's a very touchy situation, so thank you for your
It's time to go
professionalism.
away.
Yeah.
Time to go away. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
All right.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll go to item 9, LSU Ag Center report. Ms. Desiree, I guess I'm saying this, Dorest.
Desiree.
Ma'am, would you introduce everybody in your party?
Yes. First, I'd like to say good evening. We have Miss Marilyn Rice, Miss Susan Gesnard, Miss Sheila Billingsley. They are master gardeners. with our program. We have our two new 4-H development agents, Ms. Kayla Haydell, Ms. Jamie Temple. We have Ms. Cherie Richard Fair. She's our FCS agent, Family Consumer Science agent. And we have Mr. David Temple, our wetlands agent. And of course, myself. Okay, I'm Desiree Doress, your area horticulturist and parish chair for Ascension Parish. We, the LSU Ag Center Cooperative Extension Service staff, appreciates the opportunity to report to you today about the work that we are doing here in the parish. We also thank you for your continuous support of the LSU programs, which allow us to conduct quality and productive educational programs for all citizens, okay, of Ascension Parish in the areas of agriculture, horticulture, family and consumer science, and 4-H youth development. We have outlined some of the more successful impact programs in the LSU Ag Center profile brochure that you have received. Inside, we have an impact statement. We also have a picture of the Freedom Garden that is located in Donaldsonville in cooperation with the River Road African American Museum. And it was the Freedom Garden in our parish, Ascension, that's on the front cover. Also, in the area of agriculture and horticulture, which is my responsibility, educational programs are designed in the area of home and lawn maintenance, fruit and vegetables, small farms, crops, office administration work that I have to do, F&P, agriculture, the Freedom Garden, and also the Ascension Parish Master Gardeners. Other agents that also work with us in our area includes David Bourgeois in fishery, Deborah Cross, FCS, Barton Joffrion, forestry, Lisa Arsamon, 4-H regional director, Monica Olin, FCS, and sugarcane, Al Orgeron, and our regional director is Dr. Steve Mullins. At this time, I would like to introduce our 4-H development youth agents.
Again, we appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight, and on behalf of the Ascension Parish 4-H, we would like to thank you for your continued support of the 4-H program here in Ascension Parish. Currently, we have 4-H members in Ascension Parish that are participating in 85 different project areas. We conduct monthly educational programs for 30 4-H clubs, and this includes our 28 school clubs, as well as our shooting sports and outdoor skills club, and our junior leader club, which is for 4-Hers 13 years of age and older.
Our 2007-2008 educational focus this year was leadership, where we tried to instill in the 4-Hers different leadership abilities such as accepting differences in others, assessing leadership skills, building a leadership team, involving others, resolving conflict, and the differences they can make. Our next year educational focus will be improving the environment, which Mr. David Temple, our American Wetlands intern, will assist us in.
Our main goal in 4-H is to develop the youth of Ascension Parish, and to do this, we have many parish-wide activities that we conduct here. They include Achievement Day, camps for all ages in 4-H University, our Character Counts program, commodity cookeries, a fashion board, the Fashion Review and Sew with Cotton contest, our Junior Leader Club, livestock shows, officer training workshops, project training days, our service learning projects, shooting sports and outdoor skills, which has grown significantly this year, and our annual 4-H dance.
Without our Ascension Parish 4-H volunteers, we would not be able to reach as many 4-Hers in this parish. Our volunteers undergo many different orientations, some of which are our school club leaders attend an area leader training in Baton Rouge on LSU campus. All adult leaders are overnight chaperone trained and background checked for the protection of our current Ascension 4-Hers. We are also implementing our new annual volunteer appreciation banquet, where we will be honoring 85 outstanding volunteers in Ascension Parish.
In 2008, Louisiana 4-H is also celebrating its centennial anniversary, and all major 4-H activities throughout the state will have a centennial theme in honor of 100 years in 4-H. This year in Ascension Parish, we were fortunate enough to nominate 3 outstanding lifetime volunteers for the 4-H 100-Year Hall of Fame, and they included Andrew Babin, Mr. Crawford Bishop, and Mr. Booley Meredith Orso. Of these volunteers, we had one that was actually inducted into the State Hall of Fame, and we also had a National Hall of Fame member from Ascension Parish as well. Also, Bluebell is marketing an ice cream that's called 4-H Centennial Cupcake in honor of this great celebration. And to kick off our celebration this year, we had a ribbon-cutting ceremony, which many of you attended in conjunction with our parish livestock show.
Ascension Parish junior leaders got the opportunity to take pledges at the Louisiana Public Broadcasting that was broadcasting the 4-H Centennial documentary.
One of our other more recent 4-H achievements at the LSU State Livestock Show held here in Gonzales at Lamar Dixon Expo Center, we had 2 parish groups that participated in the market and breeding swine divisions. We dressed in a jambalaya theme with our exhibitors. It was kind of a pep rally type atmosphere. We had a lot of support from our Ascension Parish citizens to cheer them on. And in the market division, they placed 5th in the state and 1st in the breeding division. So we were really proud of that accomplishment.
And we also had 19 4-H members that attended our annual challenge camp held in Camp Grant Walker, Pollock, Louisiana. And at this camp, they did planning, team building, and goal-setting activities. Thank you for your time and support. And next, we would like to introduce Ms. Cherie Fair, our FCS agent.
Hi, how are y'all doing? I know so many of y'all for so many years, but for the new ones, I am Cherie Fair, and I've been in this parish for quite a while. I was 4-H agent for many, many years. But my responsibility for the last about 8 years has been family and consumer sciences with a focus on housing and something that's referred to as family resource management, which, to put it simply, is helping families or individuals learn to manage their money appropriately and their resources. But now I do want to thank you for all the support that you've given us for our programs over the years. It really, really has impacted a lot of folks, and I want to tell you just a few things, not as many as theirs, but just a few things that your support has helped us do. In the area of housing, I'm currently with a team, and we have just recently completed writing the curriculum for charting your course to home ownership. With post-Katrina and Rita, there's so many folks who were put out of their houses. We're doing this program. It's First-Time Home Buyer. It's a training program that we're doing. It's a 12-hour curriculum, and so it's being piloted right now, and it should be kicked off in August once we've got it all totally tweaked. But I know we have a relationship with the folks at the Rural Development Agency, and they're sending people over. But it's open to anybody who's going to be a first-time home buyer. It helps them get their finances together, make sure that they don't buy more of a house than they can really afford, you know, as evidenced in all the mortgage problems and foreclosures that people have had, and also understand all the things that go into maintaining a home. One other thing I want to point out in the area of housing, is I've been with the team and we've been doing hurricane-resistant home improvement classes, which has been a lot of fun for me. But it's on the southern portion of the state. We've gone around and we've taught consumers or do-it-yourselfers the various things that they can do to strengthen their homes. If they're in certain stages of rebuilding or remodeling, there's ways they can get into the internal structure, and we've showed them with research-based information how to strengthen it. And even there's things you can do to help keep your roof on even if you're not taking it off. Ask me and I'll tell you about it. But in financial education, one thing that's really new that we're doing is a sort of collaborative thing with the folks at probation, the corrections department, and the Donaldsonville Department of Probation and Parole, and then a group called Step Out, and it deals with it deals with people who've just recently been incarcerated, and they're out either on probation or they've been out for about a month. And we're teaching them financial management, how to manage their money, basic money management skills, as well as job skills. We did a class the other day, so we're real excited about this. So these are just a few highlights I wanted to tell you. But I do want to thank you for all your support over the years. You've really been wonderful to work with, and you're greatly appreciated by everybody in our group. Thank you. Any questions? Did you hit it all? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, and Mr. Tompley, very much. I guess I would like some first-hand information on this 4-H cupcake by Bluebell, but thank y'all very much. Next, item 10, Ascension Economic Development Corporation Resolution, Board Member Terms. Mr. Lohr?
Chairman Bell, I'd like to pass on this. We're going to need to run this through the Personnel Committee first before it comes back through Council.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Item 11, Resolution, Louisiana Community Planning Program funds to request council approval to submit application for the Louisiana Community Planning Program and to authorize Parish President Tommy Martinez to sign and execute all financial documents that pertain. Ms. Martha Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. I have here tonight with me, Rick Crompton. He's the planning director, and he has some booklets for you to explain to you what this program is about. Last night at the Planning Commission, they did vote to recommend to the council that we look into this grant. So I would ask for a resolution to move forward with this program.
Okay, you'll have a motion for the resolution by Councilman Kluart, second by Councilman Shakespeare. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Lambert.
Yeah, Ms. Martha, any cost, or what is the cost to the parish on this?
On the grant itself, it is a
matching
grant. It's 2-to-1. And the funds are budgeted for this.
Thank you.
Through the planning department. If
Councilman
you have any
Shakespeare?
questions,
Yes, I've been in some of the meetings that we've had at ETEL. Mr. John Scanlon has been conducting some meetings of public officials in the parish to try to move us forward in the master plan, and we've been meeting with Mr. Compton, and it was a suggestion by everybody involved that we go through this process and as a way to get more monies for proper planning, for a good master plan for this parish, and I think it's the right way to go, and I think we're heading in the right direction. I'd like to thank everybody for their participation.
Any more discussion? Councilman Lohr.
I'd just like to ask Mr. Compton if he has anything he'd like to say about this.
No, for me it's important to work with CPEX just to get our hands around the situation. We've got a lot of great reports, a lot of great studies that have been done in the past, and I think CPEX is going to help us just to put it all in one place, to put out an RFP, to get Ascension Parish's name out there and know that we want somebody to do some good work for us, and I think that they're going to help us get in that right direction.
Great, thanks.
Any more discussion? Any objection? Resolution passes. Thank you, Ricky. Martha. Our next item, 11A, will be our malpractice insurance. It'll be on our two-thirds agenda item we'll bring up. Mr. Kenny Matassa.
Yes, that's for the mental health and the health unit. That's for all of our personnel. That's not counting the doctors who have their own malpractice insurance. It did go down substantially, and I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Make that motion.
Councilman Lambert makes the motion, second by Councilman Lohr. Any discussion? Councilman Kluart.
Yes, is this, what is the cost of this insurance?
The
Has
cost
it
of the-
changed over the last year?
Okay, last year it was 50,000 plus, and this year it's 30,919. So $17,856 reduction.
Without a reduction in service?
Right. No, we have the same employees. We haven't had a claim since we've been both operating, so I imagine that's why it's starting to go down.
Thank you, sir.
Any more discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Our second item will be the Davisac
Yes.
contract.
That's our engineer company that is doing the work for the jail on the sewer line that's going to the Downsville plant. The administration was looking at his contract, and it had some problems with it. It was under a task order, and so Mr. Martin has got with the engineer, and we are doing a housekeeping item on this by doing a professional contract with them for the same amount of money that y'all had approved at the finance meeting. I think it was last year. So it's a budgeted item. It's no more monies. It's just a change of a contract.
Okay. It's a housekeeping
From
item.
from task order contract to a professional services contract.
So move to accept.
Motion by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Johnson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we have our planning zoning recommendations. Mr. Ricky Compton, our planning director, and Mr. Lance Brock.
Zoning review IDs 1859.808 to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from rural to crossroad commercial for lots C1D1, C1D2A, C1D3A, located on the southeast corner of LA Highway 30 and Hodgson Road. The recommendation was to recommend to approve the rezoning request from rural to crossroad commercial.
Chairman, I make the motion to accept planning and zoning's recommendation.
Motion
Second.
by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Chris Lohr. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Item 13, I have a speaker for 13, zone review ID 1860.08, Mr. Dempsey Pendarvis. You'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for this opportunity. This really doesn't concern me other than a person that's more likely said that he's not very well at speaking and didn't know how to do it or not. This is the Wallace May property. Y'all would know it as I grew up knowing that as the Mount Zion Road. I think it's 933. It runs from Veron's Grocery, intersecting 44 to runs into 42, about 2 miles west of Port Vincent. It's a state corner, double state corner. It's the lady at the Planning and Zoning Commission, when they denied approval for this thing, said she didn't feel it would fit the area. I personally know the area, lived there, grew up there, and went and looked at it afterwards. Nothing you could do there could hurt the aesthetic of the property now as it stands. The property belongs to the boy's family. His family lives around it. They did not have one objection at the commission meeting. Matter of fact, to the contrary, years ago there was a store right across the road, and prior to that it was an ice cream stand, which was owned by my aunt, Miss Rose Roddy. I would ask y'all to look at zoning, we can't look at where we've been, we just got to look where we're going. This property being a state corner should have never been zoned rural or medium intensity, whatever it is. It should have really been a crossroad commercial corner. And if y'all could find in yourself to help the May family out, I know they would appreciate it, and I definitely would. Thank you.
I have a motion by Councilman Todd Lambert.
I make the motion to accept planning and zoning's recommendation, but
Mr. Chair.
discussion also.
Okay.
Make that motion. Got a motion on the table. Go ahead.
Have a second.
No, I'm not going to second that right now.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Valentine. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Councilman Lambert.
Yeah, Mr. Brock, have you talked with Mr. May on this?
Yes, sir. I spoke to him yesterday,
Okay.
and I explained to him that we were doing an overall study of the parish as a whole, and explained to him that this may be an area, don't know for sure, but this could be an area that we may be looking at. But I didn't know for sure, we don't know for sure. So he said that he was fine with that he'll wait for that time until we come back with our study back, and then at that point, see what happens.
Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and support you on the denial of this, but as soon as possible, I'd like to get this reviewed, okay?
Sure, yes.
Any more discussion? Councilman Shakespeare.
Well, I just have a question on it. If we deny, and it usually says that you cannot rezone for a period of a year, is that effective if the parish does it?
No, sir, it doesn't.
Okay, that means
yes, that's right.
the homeowner cannot come in for you.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's what I want to make sure.
Councilman Clewart.
Yes, Mr. Brock. When do you anticipate the rezoning of the parish?
That's
review?
that excellence groups that they were talking about earlier, that you spoke about, that Ricky spoke about earlier. Timeline, I can't exactly say. Hopefully by, when do you think?
It's a long process.
Yeah.
I mean, my estimation for a final product is first quarter of 2010.
That's
I mean,
what I'm thinking.
it's a long way out, but what we're going to get out of that is a future land use map that says where the general public believes we should grow commercial, high-density residential, business park. It's going to come as a consensus, so it's a little ways out.
That's in your district, so.
Yeah, I'm not going to support this then. I would like to pass on this, and we'll look at it possibly the next meeting. I mean, there was a store on this property, guys, and I mean, it's just some districts here are flooding with commercial development. Highway 42, there's very little commercial development on it, so I think we need to look at this a little closer, and if any way we could possibly pass on this, I'd like to bring it back. 2 years out, I don't want to hold up anyone on that.
Councilman Lambert.
Yeah, Mr. Brock, reason for denial of this property to rezone it, you have that from the planning and zoning? What was the reason for it, for the denial of this property? Was it spot zoning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Which is also illegal, right? Spot zone.
I'm not going to.
You're not going to go that far?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Councilman Lambert. Councilman Shakespeare.
Well, spot zoning is an opinion.
That's right.
We're going to go there. I'm inclined to agree with Councilman Lambert that we need to take a little time to take a look at this, because we also had, I grew up knowing that it was a commercial corner at one time, and I think we might be a better way to solve this problem. We can put our heads together for another couple of weeks, and I would like to make a motion, an alternative motion to defer until the next meeting on this.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Lohr. Any discussion? Any objection? The amended motion carries. Thank you. The next item, item 14, zoning review ID 186108. I have a speaker, Mr. Dempsey Pendarvis. You'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Okay, can we get you the paperwork before our 3 minutes starts, please, sir? This one actually pertains to me. Okay. Once again, I'm going to thank you for this opportunity. This property belongs to Mr. Arthur Piku and I. We've owned it for some 22 years. We actually bought this property in 1985 for commercial activity, to be a concrete plant. We were denied by Planning and Zoning Commission with not one objection from the audience. Post Office Road is a 2,000-foot long road. 731 feet of it is already commercial. It's mixed-use commercial, what we're trying to do. There's some 5,500 cars a day go down Post Office Road. They have not been a resident built on this portion that's not commercial now in at least the past 50 years. We obviously know there was a whole lot of mistakes made during the zoning, but we can't look where we've been. We can only look where we need to go. Around me, there's mixed-use commercial now. There's an automobile shop on the corner. There was a machine shop across from me, which it's an onshore construction company operates out of it. There's mortgage companies around me. There's daycare centers around us. There's beauty shops. There's 12 office complexes across the street. Dead across from my property, I'm looking at a sewer plant. I'm right behind Pierce Foundry. I'm behind Gonzalez X-ray company. My right of way out to 73 is kind of across the street from real close to Ascension Ready Mix. So there's mixed use commercial around us, and as I tried to point out to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and sometimes we on the wrong side of politics. People do things not because it's what's right or wrong. It's who you voted for, or who you supported. And I feel like I'm a victim. Mr. Arthur Piku and I, Mr. Arthur's been in business in this parish for 51 years. I've been in business in this parish for 32 years. Neither one of us, especially Mr. Arthur, which is a very giant of a gentleman, we're legitimate people. We've been here and we're not going anywhere. There's some talk that we would have accepted Crossroad commercial, but the office warehouse is not allowed in Crossroad commercial. There's been some stipulation about, well, maybe we could put a bar room there. A bar room business in Ascension Parish is a dying trait, and some of y'all are older than me and been around as long as me. Think about how many there used to be on the airline, Cabanas, Bantams, Birthlot's Grocery on the corner, the biker club across the deal.
Time's up, sir.
Okay, appreciate it. I appreciate y'all's consideration.
Okay, Mr. Ricky and Mr. Lance Brock, please.
Yes, sir.
Zone review ID 186108.
Yeah. Eastern 2 acres of Lot 1B for Dempsey Pendorvis. To amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from RM, residential medium intensity, to mixed use. The zoning commission's recommendation was to deny.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we do not follow the zoning commission's recommendation, that we allow the rezoning of the property.
I have a motion by Councilman Clord, second by Councilman Cullen. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Councilman Clord.
Yes, sir, Mr. Brock. Based on the logistics of that road and everything that's down there, I think that it's basically a commercial area, right?
The use of the property is commercial.
Right.
All the properties that have gone in there recently have been granted variances for their square footage. The zoning has not been changed.
Pretty much looks commercial when I drive down it.
Sure. But it allows businesses down there or offices, and that's what's down there. And those uses are permitted in that district.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would have preferred the Crossroads commercial because it's a little bit less density for commercial, but that's not allowed in this. This is not allowed in Crossroads commercial. I think this is a good fit for that because it's not a high traffic thing. So I think the use in this is very good, and to go to mixed use is necessary in order to put this product on there, and I think it'll be good for the residents as they come on. So being it's fairly low traffic, I'm very much in support of it.
Councilman Lambert?
Yeah, Mr. Brock, could I get what the recommendation from staff was on this item?
The recommendation, the staff did not make a recommendation.
They didn't make. But we are talking, everything else there is commercial. I know Mr. Darver said they had a lot of mixed use there, but is there some zoning for mixed use behind the tracks going, I guess, west?
The zoning or the mixed use changes, or the designation is from Airline Highway or where the post office is to the railroad track. Once it stops at that point, from the railroad track to 73, it's residential.
Residential. So
Yes,
everything is residential.
Yes, sir.
I don't make a substitute motion that we accept planning and zoning's recommendation to denial based on planning and their.
We have a substitute motion by Councilman Lambert.
I'll second.
Who was the second? Second by Councilman Valentine. Any discussion?
Oppose.
Any objection?
Oppose.
Oppose.
We have a roll call, please.
Councilman Chase
No.
Councilman Dipsy Lambert.
No.
Councilman Kluwat.
No.
Councilman Lowell.
No.
Councilman Valentine.
Yes.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Cullen.
No.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. The, I need any more discussion on the,
Motion
You need
fails.
6 votes. You need to vote if it is going to pass.
okay, I will vote no.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the substitute motion failed. Now you need to return to the
I'll
original
return,
motion.
that's what I was fixing to do. I'll return to the original motion. Any objection? Motion carries. Next, we will move into our public hearing ordinance section. Mr. Crawford, to create a utilities department.
Good evening, gentlemen. First ordinance is, whereas the Ascension Parish Council in lawful session desires to amend Chapter 2, Article 7 of the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances to create a utility department and to generally define its duties. Be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority in lawful session as follows. The Utilities Department shall be headed by the Director of Utilities. The Director of Utilities shall direct and be responsible for all activities as they pertain to utilities operated by the Governing Authority or any of its districts, and as directed by the President. Nothing in this section shall in any manner affect franchises or contracts existing between any governmental body within the parish and a public utility at the time this charter becomes effective for the remaining life or duration of the aforementioned franchises or contracts. And for state law references, public ownership of utilities was revised statute 45-1131, and as follows.
Okay, I'll need a motion
So moved,
to
Mr. Chairman.
have a motion by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Shakespeare, to open public hearing.
Move to close.
Have a motion by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Shakespeare, to close public hearing. I'll need a motion for the ordinance to create a utility.
Move the ordinance.
Moved by Councilman Shakespeare.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lower. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance introduced. Ordinance is adopted. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just want to thank the parish president. I've been in the utility business for 23 years, and this is a step in the right direction. We really need this, fellas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 18, Mr. Crawford, reading of the ordinance to declare the properties at 13008 and 13003 Shealy Place as surplus and to authorize their sale.
Thank you, sir. The purpose of the ordinance, to declare as surplus property 2 immovable properties currently owned by the Parish of Ascension bearing the following street addresses. The first property being 13003 Shealy Drive, Gonzales, Louisiana 70737, and property number 2 bearing street address 13008 Shealy Drive, Gonzales, Louisiana 70737. Said immovable property was initially bought for the purposes of the Cannon Road widening project. However, that project has been canceled. Once designated as surplus property, the Parish of Ascension shall sell said surplus property pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 334712, and as follows. Whereas the Parish of Ascension owns the following described property that was acquired in pursuit of the Cannon Road widening project. Number 1, a certain parcel of land and all improvements located thereon, situated in Section 15, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, being Lot 39 of the Shealy Place subdivision as shown on the plat of said subdivision filed of record in the office of the Clerk of Court, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, being the same property described in the cash sale from Lewis H. Stafford Builders to Corey J. Piper dated 4/26/1999, recorded in number 436199 of the conveyance records of the Clerk of Court, Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, and property number 2, one certain lot or parcel of ground, together with all the buildings and improvements situated thereon and thereunto belonging, situated in that subdivision of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, known as Shealy Place, and being designated on the official map thereof on file and on of record in the office of the Clerk and Recorder for the Parish of Ascension, designated as lot number 38, and having measurements as indicated on the official map thereof on file and of record in the office of the Clerk and Recorder for the Parish of Ascension, Louisiana, subject to all previously recorded building restrictions, servitudes, building setback guidelines, oil, gas, and mineral reservations, conveyances, servitudes, and leases of record. Whereas the Ascension Parish Council, through the powers granted under the Home Rule Charter, has the authority to declare property belonging to the parish as surplus and sell said property according to law. Whereas it is the high recommendation of the parish president that said property be declared surplus and sold according to law. Whereas this recommendation is based on several facts and considerations, namely, the property described above is no longer needed for the purposes in which it was originally purchased. The Cannon Road widening project was terminated in lieu of a less costly alternative of road overlay and repair. The property continues to deteriorate and lose value due to depreciation and lack of use. The Parish of Ascension must maintain services on said property, including maintenance and insurance costs. The Parish of Ascension remains liable for any injuries and or other activities that may occur on parish-owned property and all other considerations that is normal and routine with the holding and or owning of a movable property. Whereas Ascension Parish is of the opinion that these properties are surplus and no longer needed for public purposes, and that it would be in the public interest to declare said properties as surplus and sell said properties according to law. Whereas Ascension Parish is of the opinion that in consideration of the condition of the properties and that mineral rights have been reserved to the previous owners as recorded in the act of cash sale of both properties to the Parish of Ascension, the value of each listed property is less than $100,000. Therefore, be it ordained that the Ascension Parish Council declares that the below listed property is declared surplus and should be sold by cash sale to the highest bidder with a minimum bid amount of $67,000. I'm not going to re-describe the property descriptions. Therefore, be it further ordained that all sales are to be conducted as set forth by relevant Louisiana law, including but not limited to the following sections. Section 2, following the adoption of this ordinance and all required publications of said ordinance, if no restraining order has been obtained, the parish president is authorized to execute an act of cash sale in which the Parish of Ascension conveys said properties to the highest bidder in consideration of a sum equal to or in excess of the minimum bid requirement of $60,000 plus any and all associated costs. However, the parish president shall not execute the act of cash sale until certification that A, purchaser has certified in writing to the office of the parish president that purchaser or his agent has examined the mortgage records, conveyance records, probate, and civil suit records of the Clerk of Court of Ascension Parish and attached to the certification a written list of the names and last known addresses of all owners, mortgagees, and any other person who might have a vested or contingent interest in the property or has filed a request for notice as provided in Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2261. Said written certification shall contain an indemnification and hold harmless clause by the purchaser in favor of the Parish of Ascension, its officers, agents, and employees. If the purchaser should fail to request notification to an interested party or should incorrectly identify or locate any interested party. Purchaser has made written requests to the office of the parish president to notify those persons identified above in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 33:4720.17 and Revised Statute 47:2261 and has paid the parish the sum of $5 per notice and or the sum of $30 per notice by publication requested or supplied evidence that the notice satisfactory to the office of the parish president, that the notice required under the mentioned revised statutes has been made by purchaser or his agent. I wrote a long one. C, purchaser has recorded evidence of notice required by Louisiana Revised Statute 33:4720.17 and 47:2261 in the conveyance records of Ascension Parish, and has provided the office of the parish president a stamped copy of the recorded evidence on notice. Section D, purchaser has certified in writing to the office of the parish president that the number of days required has elapsed since the above required notice was made or attempted, and that the property has not been redeemed by the payment of the taxes owed. Purchaser has paid the consideration in cash to the parish, and the cash sale attached has been approved by the office of the parish president. Purchaser had deposited with the parish of Ascension the amount required to be escrowed. Section 3, if all the requirements of Section 2 are not completed within 6 months from the date this ordinance is adopted, the parish president's authority to execute an active cash sale for this property shall cease, and any and all rights of the purchaser to this property shall terminate. Section 4, this active sale shall be without any warranty or recourse whatsoever, including warranty of title, even for the return or any reduction of the purchase price, but with subrogation to all rights and actions of warranty parish of Ascension may have, and such sale shall contain such warranty limitations and other provisions as are required by the office of the parish president. The parish of Ascension shall reserve all oil, gas, and other mineral rights in and to the property to be conveyed, subject to the interests of the original owner and or vendors of said property, but shall convey the surface rights of the said property. Section 6, any and all sales of such property shall be subject to any and all servitudes and easements. Section 7, all property sold subject to an as-is clause as prepared by the parish of Ascension.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford.
Motion to open public hearing.
Motion by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Johnson. Public hearing is open.
Move to close.
Move to close by
Second.
Councilman Valentine, second by Councilman Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance
Move on the
is
ordinance.
adopted. I'm sorry, we need a motion on the ordinance.
Second.
We got a first by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Valentine. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. 21, reading of ordinance to amend the, I will have 6 speakers on this item.
Need to read ordinance.
To amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from medium-intensity residential to crossroad commercial, Henry Smith property, Tract 2, 7.15 acres, and a 5-acre tract for Gary L. and Brenda G. Lewis, located on the north side of Over East Roth Road, approximately 165 foot west of Ernest Bell Road, zoning review ID 182607. My first speaker.
Hang on, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we are having a public hearing. They can speak during the public hearing. That
Yes.
would be right, would be for the ordinance to be read first, and then
Okay,
they would
let's go.
speak during the
Mr. Crawford. Read the ordinance, please.
Thank you. Purpose, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from medium-intensity residential to crossroad commercial. Whereas the parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for a procedure for its amendment to allow the rezoning of property to a different classification. Whereas the herein below described property is located as such that rezoning the property is in conformity with adjacent land uses, in conformity with the general land use plan of the parish, not injurious to adjacent properties, and fully meets the qualifications for rezoning set forth under Louisiana law. Be it ordained that the following described property be rezoned from medium-intensity residential to crossroad commercial. The Henry Smith property, Tract 2, composing of a 7.15 acres and a 5-acre tract for Gary L. and Brenda G. Lewis, located on the north side of East Roth Road, approximately 165 feet west of Ernest Bell Road. All is more fully described in the records of the Clerk of Court, Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana. Be it further ordained that the land use map of the Ascension Parish Development Code be amended to reflect these rezonings, and that the Office of Planning and Zoning be authorized to make such changes.
Okay, so I need a motion to
Move
open
to open
public
the
hearing.
public hearing.
Motion by Councilman Valentine, second by Councilman Lambert. I'll have 6 speakers, first being Mrs. Gloria Bailey.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to speak this afternoon. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm opposed to this area being rezoned. And my reason for opposing this is, number one, there are apartment complexes already around this area. And as you know, one of them is Magnolia Crossing. We also have, Magnolia Crossing is on 44. We have, on Lanu Road, we have Oakwood Apartments. On Darla, we have the Cajun Motel. On Commerce, we have Sir John. On Maurice Roth, we have the other apartments. And I would just like to say tonight that right now the road is being rebuilt or worked on because of the amount of traffic on the road. And I think that if we get some more apartments in there, it's going to, and I'm under the impression that it's going to be like 200 two-bedroom apartments. I'm looking at maybe about 200 cars or 200 more cars on that strip of road. And really, that's too many. So I would like to just pose this question to the board. Why would we need to add some more traffic and apartments to that area? Why would we need to overburden one area? That's my question.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey. Next will be Douglas, I think I'm saying this right, Villian. Okay, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and gentlemen of the council. My name is Douglas Villian, and I'm a planning consultant, and I represent Mr. Gary Lewis, who is the owner of this property. The subject property is located, it's a 12-acre site located on the north side of Oris Roth Road. And it is located on, Oris Roth Road is literally the boundary line between the city and the parish at that location. Our request is to change the zoning from RM to CC zoning for the purpose of constructing apartments. You might say that this is a plan in hand, if you will, because it's not speculative zoning. We know what we want to do on that property, and there's never been a question about that. This site and others around it are in an area where the land use pattern is presently changing, in an area where virtually all of the property across the street is either commercial or high-density residential. This is a copy of the city zoning map. It's in direct and high visibility to the interstate. It's located along a major thoroughfare, Oris Roth and Boudreaux roads or major thoroughfares, and the properties are contiguous, or the properties that are contiguous to this site are either vacant or well buffered by vegetation. We began some time back in discussions with the planning office when we first started this application and discussed it with the staff. The staff supported this change. The planning director at that time supported the change, and the planning commission supported the change in this zoning. No one at the public hearing of the planning commission spoke in opposition to this. We have met with adjacent property owners.
Thank you, sir.
Am I out of time?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Next we'll have Mr. Juba Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. I will tell you that I'm not an expert in zoning, but I am from this area, grew up in the area. My daughter lives in the area. and my grandkids. I know Gary Lewis, and I know the kind of developments that he produces and develops. And I've looked at his plans. I've looked at the property, went with him and others to the site, and after reviewing it, I say that I support the property and encourage you to do what you think is right. But I think that it's in the best interest of that area and of the parish. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we will have Reverend Roosevelt McMiller.
Good evening, gentlemen. I stand in support of this project, being the pastor of the St. Paul Baptist Church on Boudreaux Road. I am a Christian man, and I believe in Christian principles. Denial of a place to live is something that I strictly am appalled of. And I believe this project will be beneficial for those that cannot afford a place to live. And some of us have come from trailers, some have come from apartment complex, and we've done well. A kid does not born bad. He's raised that way. Every environment does not make a kid bad. It's what's on his mind and what he's trained. Ascension Parish is a place that's growing, which means Ascension, that which goes up, is a place that's on the rise. And I do believe that this project that Mr. Lewis is presenting to us will be beneficial to this parish. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next will be the Reverend Zenobia Baptiste.
Good evening, Councilman. My name is Zenobia Baptiste. I'm a member of the St. Paul Baptist Church that's located on Boudreaux Road. We've had many members to testify that they've had dreams or visions of growth in our church. We have just dedicated a multi-purpose building for that purpose. That's not all that we plan to have, because our administration department is interested in the community and meeting the needs of the people and having the facilities in order to host them and to house our different programs. We do have in mind of daycare centers, gyms, and other buildings for activities in that community, and we are reaching out to the community. So on behalf of those things that we have in mind, we do need to have this area rezoned. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next will be Mr. Gary Lewis.
Thank you. The apartments that are planned, the rents will start in the range of about $920. It's not low income. There will be some families, there will be some children. There will be singles, there will be professionals, and there will be some retirees, as you have in any condominiums or higher density residential. There'll be a setback from the street. It'll be gated. There will be a buffer. It's one of the few properties in the curve that Oris Roth makes. I appreciate the support of many people in the neighborhood. St. Paul Baptist Church has over 200 members. I appreciate their support. This zoning will not determine actually what gets built. We're going to continue to work with the Planning Commission and with the members of this community to see what's going to work with them and be economically feasible. We appreciate your time and your consideration. Thank you very much.
Next will be Ms. Barbara Blade.
Good evening. They're speaking of this property and this apartment complex that they're trying to put in like there's no one that lives in this area. I have all my neighbors here that lives in this area, and we're concerned that they already have 240 units, And this apartment complex, which will be 200 more units, will face that. And it's already a traffic problem in that area. It's basically a nightmare. We have children that are catching the bus in the morning. There's traffic speeding up and down the street. And if you add 2 more plus vehicles in that neighborhood, it's going to be a nightmare. So maybe someone wants to consider that, because that area that he's talking about, we live there. That has been my home. I was born there. I moved to California. I stayed for 35 years, and I came back there for the peace and quiet. And it's about to turn into a nightmare, and I can see it coming. Thank you.
Okay, that will conclude our speakers. I'll need a motion by Councilman Valentine.
A second.
To close. Second by Councilman Lambert. I'll need a motion on the ordinance.
I make a motion to deny the recommendation of the Planning Commission, or to overturn the recommendation of the Planning Commission on this issue.
Have a motion by Councilman Shakespeare.
Second.
We have a second by Councilman Cullen. Any discussion?
Yes.
Have Councilman Shakespeare.
Yes, sir. I'm a teacher in that area. I've been in that area pretty much all my life, and has brought home a lot of people that's in that area. So I do know the people that are around there, and the general consensus of the people there is that this is a good neighborhood for single-family residential area, and they want to keep it that way. And there is ample apartments in the area within 1 mile of the area, probably more so than any other place in this parish. There is very ample living space for people from all ranges, very luxury apartments all the way down to first-time and low-income apartments very close in this area. So I think all of those people that are in need or would like to live in apartments are covered in that area, and the residences in general would like to keep it as single-family residential. That's why I would like to vote to overturn the recommendation by the Planning Commission.
Okay, Councilman Shakespeare, we'll have to back that out. You can't make a motion like you did. Mr. Crawford, would you like to expel on that, please?
This is an ordinance, so you actually need to make a motion.
Right.
For it or
Vote against it.
Right.
And not a motion.
That's exactly what I said, is that I wanted to deny the ordinance.
That's why I got and that's why we're in the discussion phase.
I got discussion.
Councilman Kluart.
Yes, I'm fairly familiar with the place, but not real familiar. I just, as a favor to Councilman Thompson, who's not here tonight, I think his son is graduating tonight, just expressed that it was his views that he would be against this apartment complex. I don't have a lot of other comments.
Okay, who we got? Councilman Lambert? Okay. Have any more discussion? Any objection?
I object.
I object.
Have 2 objections. Do a roll call, please, Ms. Suzanne.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Yes.
Councilman Dipsy Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Kluwat.
Yes.
Councilman Lohr.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
No.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
No.
Councilman Cullen.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Got 6 yeas and 2 nays.
2. Okay. Okay, the ordinance has been denied. I'll need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Shakespeare. Second by Councilman Johnson. I'll need a roll call, please.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Yes.
Councilman Dipsy Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
Yes.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Cullen.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
need to break that into two discussion points with Dr. Mittendorf first, and then anybody on the board that wants to come in second, and not the two together, because they're two separate
Okay,
recommendations.
so first we'll do Dr. Mittendorf.
Dr. Mittendorf,
Okay.
yes. And I'm thinking we can do it in less than 30 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Chairman. Mr. Arsimon. Mr. Arsimon? You know, is there anybody else that you need in executive session at this time? Council? Anybody? Okay, I just want to clarify that.
Dr. Mittendorf was the only one that expressed that opinion. So. Keith, are you coming in? Second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Next item up will be adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Hold on.
Got to reconvene.
We did. Well, it's reconvened.
But
Mr. Chairman, we might want to make a statement to the point that we were updated in executive session.
We were updating the executive session on Mr. Arsimon's findings. We had meetings with personnel. We have several recommendations that we will be probably putting into use. We'll have several more meetings on this, and we will move forward with mental health in a positive manner, and that's about all we'll say tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Councilman Moore, second by Councilman Lambert.